Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Posttopostpod. We hope everyone had a great 4th of July. I would want to get into like some random talk here, but we have so many notes going on. We're recording on a Wednesday, and free agency is starting, and holy shit, do we have a bunch of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, today's basically day one for the free agency, I'm pretty sure. There are certain rules and stipulations to who can sign what beforehand, but today is the day that it all kicks off, so... we are definitely going to be behind on some things. We're going to cover whatever we missed this week. Next week's episode, this is going to drop for you guys on Monday, which I believe will be the 18th, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, anything we don't get to today, we'll cover next episode. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be plenty to go around. Plenty of, who even knows? All these signings will be like, yeah, we're going to trade them too.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so I'll start everyone and us off with the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins have signed goalie Casey DeSmith to a 2-year extension for $3.6 million, $1.8 million AAV. They also signed defenseman Chris Letang to a 6-year, $36.6 million contract, which is $6.1 million AAV. Rickard Rakell to a 6-year, $30 million contract, $5 million AAV. The Penguins also, they're going to keep signing here, defenseman Pierre-Olivier Joseph to a 2-year, $1.65 million contract, which is $825,000 a year. And then they signed, finally, Evgeny Malkin to a 4-year deal with $24.4 million, $6.1 million AAV. We did not think that was going to happen with Malkin, and then right last second, we got a nice little signing for Gino.
Yeah, the rumors were that he was going to go and check out free agency market on his own, by his own accord. Like, the Penguins had an offer for him, but he's going to do what he wants to do. And I guess it was just better than what he got, or maybe he didn't even shop around and decided, hey, if you guys can fit me in. But it's insane to see them lock up Letang, Rakell, and Malkin, all with the AAV that they're at. Like,
right.
They're just eating up their cap space, but it's nuts. I didn't think they were going to be able to get it all done.
No.
I thought either Letang or Malkin were gone, and Letang signed his contract, I want to say, 2 days before Malkin did. So I kind of thought that Malkin was going to be shipping off.
Yeah, I think that it was the day before, too. Rickard Rakell got the signing, and I'm just like, I can't see Malkin coming back, and then he got it. So they must have been pushing, Pens must be pushing for something, might have been another player they're going to sign, and I think Gino's well worth it.
Yeah, I think so, too. 4 years is a little long, I think, for him, but...
I guess he was down in Florida, and there was some talk of Sidney Crosby just going down and meet him, and I don't know what that whole thing was, but I'm sure Crosby was like, dude, like, stay with the Pens, like, we're trying to get you here, and he's like, all right, I'll stay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That would have been interesting to see where he went.
Yeah, I would have almost liked to, because I feel like that would have been like the blockbuster move of the free agency day.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing Letang and Rakell locked up for 6 years is really cool to me. But Casey DeSmith for only 2-year extension is kind of interesting. It makes me think, you see a team like the Colorado Avalanche who are really stacked and win the cup with a goaltender that isn't very solid in a Darcy Kemper, and maybe the league isn't going to value goalies as much as we think that they should.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you build from the net out and you get a good goalie, lock him in, and that's your guy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the teams in the NHL are saying, let's give him a couple of years and, like, whatever, if I need to get another goalie, I will. Because it just seems like it's another year of goalie carousel this year, and I didn't think that it was going to be.
No.
I thought this was going to be big-name trades, big-name signs to new teams, but the goalies were basically going to sit. But there's been a lot of action.
A lot of movements. But, yeah, Tristan Jarry has really solidified his spot. He's the guy. I'm sure they just need that. We're talking about the 1A, 1B tandem, and Casey DeSmith is that guy. So I'm sure just like, we'll keep him on here for like another 2 years, see what's going on, maybe get like a better backup for Tristan Jarry down the road if Casey DeSmith can't live up to his expectations, So
Definitely.
So well worth that 2-year extension, I think. I'm a big Casey DeSmith fan. So we'll see what happens for the Penguins. I hope they get back to a nice playoff contention.
I think they have the right core. I think they can get there. The East is so strong this year was tough, but now I think with these guys locked up, you know what you're building around, and the young studs will shine, and they'll get to where they should be.
Oh, yeah.
But moving right along, the Colorado Avalanche here, they signed forward Valeri Nichushkin to an 8-year contract for $49 million, which is a $6.125 million AAV. And they also signed forward Andrew Cogliano to a 1-year, $1.25 million contract. Nichushkin definitely earned his contract here, got
yeah.
paid big time for his cup run and the performance that he had there.
Mm-hmm.
He must be going nuts. I mean, you've seen the way that they've celebrated the cup. Now think about getting paid $49 million over the next 8 years.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
But two huge signs for those guys. Good to see.
I feel like a nice deal with the Cogliano. I think he's a solid player, and maybe just like that 1 year, 1.2 is a good signing for like the next season, you know?
Yeah, definitely a little bridge gap. I mean, he really shined in the shined in the playoffs, but they don't have a big sample size with him in Colorado, so let's give him another year and see how much he's actually worth.
Yep.
The Columbus Blue Jackets signed their defenseman Adam Boqvist to a 3-year, $7.8 million contract, $2.6 million AAV. Boqvist is only 21 years old. He had 11 goals and 22 points through 52 games last season. Not too much to chime in on there.
No.
The Minnesota Wild re-signed goaltender Marc-Andre Fleury to a 2-year, $7 million contract, $3.5 million AAV.
I like this. Fleury, just like Gino was going to talk about looking at free agency. And then, I don't know, Fleury's different. He's got, like, a family now that's set up and everything. Like, the whole Vegas thing, too. He's like, I had my whole family set up in Vegas. Like, we had, like, a whole community, and he just threw me around the NHL, which you can't do. For these single guys, like these new guys, rookie guys coming in, not even married, I'm sure it doesn't matter because they could just roam with people. But for Fleury, a family guy, it's a lot.
Yeah, and I think he's got a good relationship with Bill Guerin, and signing this contract, I think he feels secure in it as long as he doesn't shit the bed.
Right, 100%.
That's the way I see that one.
So, big signing for him. Well-deserved, $3.5 million for one of the best goalies.
Another 2 years when he's getting up there in age, too. Pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that's a win-win for both.
100%.
The team and the player.
Yep.
The LA Kings re-signed forward Adrian Kempe to a 4-year deal for $22 million, a $5.5 million AAV, and they also locked up defenseman Alex Edler to a 1-year, $750,000 contract.
I feel like Edler's a big name. I got to look at his stats as of late because I saw this. I'm like, wow, you got really cheap for Edler. Because I feel like Edler for like a while was like one of the better players. I think when he was playing for Vancouver, right?
Mm-hmm. He played for Vancouver his entire career from 2006 until 2 seasons ago. He was on LA for the first time last year.
Yep.
He is 36 years old, though, is the issue. And I think a league minimum contract for a defenseman like that, he's probably playing bottom pair or bottom 4 minutes. Yeah. So I think that's the right number for him. But You're right. He did carry a big name on the back of that jersey back in the day.
100%.
But Adrian Kempe, man, he really shined this. Shown. I gotta look that up, figure out which one it is. This season, and the spotlight was on him in LA, and I think he had a really good season, all things considered, the way the Kings finished.
LA Kings have a great team. They really do. They're just missing some pieces. And we talked about the West, where it was like Calgary, it was Oilers, like they were just like these top brand teams that just no one could touch, and LA seemed to just be right in that middle. So they're just missing a few key players. I hope to see like a little more big moves in the coming weeks to see what the LA Kings can do.
Yeah, I'd like to see them get a big name to come over there. Like some of the guys looking at the market, like a Gaudreau or a Giroux, or some of those guys.
Right.
They just need one piece to speed up the process a bit because the future's looking really bright for LA, I think.
Oh, 100%.
We got a big one here for Nashville. The Predators have signed Philip Forsberg to an 8-year extension worth $68 million and $8.5 million AAV, and he's currently the Predators' all-time leading goal scorer. So you got to pay that man.
Yep, got to do it. Philip Forsberg's going to be a household name in Nashville. I love watching him play in Nashville. Just talked about him at big. Oh, we were shitting on me for calling me a big Nashville fan, but mainly because of Pecorino. But yeah, I do watch Nashville. I do like watching Forsberg. He's a great player. So when I saw this, I'm like, yeah, it just makes sense, man. He's just like he's one of those guys you just want like solidified on the team,
I kind of thought he was a lot younger than he is. He's 27 years old. He's been in the league since 2012, so he's definitely becoming a household name in the Nashville organization.
Well, congrats to Philip Forsberg. Hopefully they can keep getting the job done,
For sure.
Don't do the Sergei Bobrovsky move. Get the big contract and just kind of shit the bed.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
So I'll do the next one here. So the New York Islanders have signed defenseman Sebastian Aho to a 2-year, $1.6 million contract, which is $800,000 AAV. Sebastian Aho, another name just like Edler. I feel like he's kind of came down the wayside here, but another big name, to be honest. 2 years for the Islanders is a big move. Islanders, again, I want to see back in the playoffs. Two seasons ago, I was just like, dude, they're gonna beat the Bruins. They're gonna go to like the Stanley Cup Finals. They're just one of the best teams. And then last year. Just what the hell happened to them? So they need something to get them back, you know?
Yeah, another Swedish player, man. Sweden and Slovakia are really taking over the league right now. 26 years old. He's really been down in the AHL for the most of his career. He's been up since 2017, but I look to see him grow a little bit more and develop more with this Islanders team, and hopefully, like you said, get back into the playoffs here.
Yeah, I would definitely love that. Staying in New York, we have the Buffalo Sabres. They signed defenseman Jacob Bryson to a 2-year, $3.7 million $3.7 million contract, which is $1.85 mil AAV. They also signed the Sabres, Vinny Hinostroza to a 1-year contract worth $1.7 million. And then lastly, the Sabres signed goalie Malcolm Subban to a 2-year, $1.65 million contract, which is $825,000 AAV. From this, I feel like the Sabres are just like, yeah, Malcolm Subban's our guy, which is interesting. Like, he gets the job done there for some reason. One of those, you know?
Yeah, I don't think that's too much of an overpayment for him. I mean, you're
No.
paying him $75K over league minimum per year.
Yep.
He hasn't really performed, but
Wow.
he is someone that you think has like a certain ceiling and potential that he could reach. And I think that's what they're really banking on. Like, someone's got to pay this guy $750K anyways. We might as well spend an extra $75K to, keep him on our team and have him grow and develop with our young guys. And maybe down the line, he'll be, a decent backup for us.
Right.
The Jacob Bryson contract was a little weird to me because we were talking earlier about, Craig Anderson getting the league minimum, like low pay. All these guys, the $750K signs that we had from Buffalo last season. Jacob Bryson is a defenseman. He's 24 years old. So I feel like this might be a payment for, what he could become. He's only been around for 4 years when it comes to the AHL and NHL. He did play for Providence College in Hockey East. I do believe he won a championship there. But 73 games last season, 1 goal, 9 assists. A pretty atrocious team in the sense of what Buffalo was.
Yep.
But for you to play 73 games and a -9 isn't too bad on the season. So
Right.
maybe he's the stay-at-home defenseman, doesn't really get the ice time, the I want to say puck touches, but that's not good English either. Doesn't touch the puck as often, but
Yep.
really shuts things down. I don't know too much about him, but
Right.
kind of a lot of money for a guy like that, in my opinion.
Right. Let's not forget the fact either, like the toward after, I'd say toward the end of the season last season, Buffalo for some reason was starting to get their shit together. They were winning games back to back, beating big name teams too out of nowhere too. So I don't know if they're just.
I feel like it was after the Jack Eichel return to Buffalo that they were like, all right, we got some fire
this.
now, you
Yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
So I don't know, maybe, but.
We did have 2 big Oilers moves here that I'm going to cover for us. The Oilers have signed forward Evander Kane to a 4-year contract worth $20.5 million, a $5.125 million AAV. Now, this was before the deal was reached, but per Evander Kane's agent, Dan Milstein, he says, quote, "We were granted permission to speak with other clubs. While we are still hopeful to have a deal in place with Edmonton, we're starting the interview process with other clubs." So weird that gets out there. I feel like when it comes to agents, you don't see a lot of these things get put out there.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because Evander Kane is such a spotlight guy that, his quote gets blown up and it's like, oh, his agent's saying he's shopping, right?
Yeah.
And then he signs in Edmonton, which was even weirder because it says he's shopping. And then Kane was quoted after signing this deal, "I want to win, and I believe after signing this deal, we'll be able to add the right pieces along with myself to accomplish that goal, which is a championship." So,
Wow.
And then shortly after that, they did add another piece to their roster. The Edmonton Oilers signed goaltender Jack Campbell from Toronto to a 5-year, $25 million contract, a $5 million AAV. Toronto apparently never made an offer to Jack Campbell after the season. They did make an initial offer early last season, but nothing since then.
Because it's Toronto. That's where goalies die. That's exactly what.
Yeah,
Toronto media. That's how it goes.
we got one coming up later on to fill the gaps here. But what do you think here, Evander Kane and Jack Campbell on Edmonton?
I like it. Huge signing for Jack Campbell, by the way. Massive signing. I think he is a solid goaltender. He was solid for the LA Kings. Another callback to that. He is a great goalie. Edmonton's looking for that star. That star starter for the playoffs. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And even last playoffs in the Toronto's in the playoffs, I was just like, Jack Campbell is not that guy. He's a great goalie, just he's not that guy to get the job done, especially on a team like the Edmonton Oilers. Darcy Kemper got away with it with the Colorado Avalanche because they were just a fucking powerhouse. But Oilers, they rely on their goalies too. You know, they're not too stacked.
The only thing I'll say about that is I think that the comparison between Toronto and Edmonton are very similar. You have a lot of star power, front-loaded, like Canadian hockey team where the spotlight is on you. So, like, for Edmonton to pick this guy up, they're looking at it and saying, hey, you know, he did pretty good in Toronto. They're, like, you know, cursed, bitten, whatever you want to call it in the first round. Yeah. Other than that, like, he's done pretty well for himself. 2.56 GAA in his career, 915 save percentage in the NHL. I didn't know this, though. He's 30 years old. He's been in the AHL since 2011. He got pulled up to the Stars in 2013 and didn't come back until 2016 for the Kings. I don't know. I think, like you're saying, he's not going to be the guy necessarily. Yeah. Maybe he is, but I just think it's going to be the same story, different city for Jack Campbell, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah. Have to go back to Evander Kane, too. I think this story, just in general, was when he came back, this was a joke to begin with because of all the shit that happened with him, like the whole story. But I feel like he's bounced back, unless there's something he's hiding. Like, I feel like him just, like, in general, is just bounced back.
No, 100%.
I think the Edmonton Oilers organization realized that, too. It would be like, and he's playing to what Evander Kane can play to. We've seen him in the playoffs, you know? And I think the Edmonton was just like, all right, we can lock this guy in now.
I agree. So I see that side of it, but I also see, in my own mind, I think about how good he was in San Jose, and then he kind of jumped ship and is like, no, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Edmonton just locked him into a 4-year contract. That seems like long terms for a guy that you brought in halfway through the season that you took kind of a gamble and a risk on.
Right.
You know, to give him that kind of money, that kind of contract, we'll see where it takes us. But hopefully that part of his career is behind him and he can, you know, be the player that Edmonton needs him to be.
Right, 100%. Yep.
The Detroit Red Wings, you want to cover those guys?
Yeah, I'll do that. So the Detroit Red Wings have signed forward David Perron to a 2-year contract with $9.5 million, $4.75 million AAV. Perron has played for 5 different teams in his 15-year career, been traded 3 times, and been selected in 1 NHL expansion draft. But despite all that, he had only ever signed a contract with the St. Louis Blues for all 5 of his previous contracts, which is
Isn't that so weird?
Yeah, that's very.
I thought that was like the coolest stat in the world.
Right, and David Perron, I think, is going to be a big pickup for the Detroit Red Wings. Like I said, this team needs a not a complete rebuild, but they need some kind of movement here to get him back. You know,
they're there. This is their veteran sign that's going to come in and tell them how this works. He's going to be the locker room leader, I think, coming into this team. He's going to have a lot of young people underneath him. You know, Lucas Raymond, Moritz Seider.
Right.
Even the goaltending situation we're going to get to later on, like. It's very different in Detroit right now, but Stevie Yzerman has a very good plan there, and I think David Perron is a key factor in all of this.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And then we have a few small ones. Actually, no, we have a couple more big ones. Jesus Christ. Small one here, though. The Arizona Coyotes signed forward Nick Bjugstad to a 1-year, $900,000 contract. Not really much to say there, I don't think. The Washington Capitals have figured out their goaltending situation. Both of their goalies currently left their organization. We're going to cover them later on. But they have signed goaltender Darcy Kemper to a 5-year, $26.25 million contract, a $5.25 mil AAV coming off of his Stanley Cup championship. That's going to be tough for him, you know, after winning a Stanley Cup with the Colorado Avalanche and moving on. Like, that sucks. He's still celebrating with his guys, and now he knows, like, I'm not coming back next season. That's got to hurt a little bit. And they also signed a backup for him in Charlie Lindgren to a 3-year, $3.3 mil contract, $1.1 mil AAV. Excuse me.
I like these signings, but at the same time, the Washington Capitals had a good tandem. You had Ilya Samsonov. You had Vitek Vanacek. I just... Why?
Yeah, I think they had an okay tandem. I think they realized that it's not going to get the job done in the playoffs, and that's what we really need. A guy like Darcy Kemper, as much as his stats don't support it, he got the job done in the playoffs more than anyone else did last year. Charlie Lindgren, okay. I would have rather have kept Vanacek or Samsonov as your backup.
Yep.
But Charlie Lindgren's not doing too shabby either, 2.74 and a 913 save percentage. So he's been around for a bit too, 28 years old. Came up to the NHL in 2015-16 with the Canadiens and played a 21-22 season with the St. Louis Blues.
Yep. So
interesting.
Wait and see.
Definitely weird. Definitely weird.
Definitely
but
weird.
Kemper being your starter. Am I mistaken? Was he ever with the Capitals? I'm probably wrong here. I'm going to look him up real quick.
Darcy Kemper, from what I can remember, was with the Minnesota Wild.
The Wild, the Kings, the Yotes, and the Avalanche.
Yep.
Well, that's their new goalie there. And the New York Rangers also signed forward Vincent Trocheck from the Carolina Hurricanes to a 7-year contract. There's no details on the numbers as of now. Like I said, today is the day, so we're going to get a lot more info later on. We're probably like 8 trades behind on 8 trades, 8 signs behind on what's going on right now as of today.
My phone's blowing up as we speak.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not even messaging each other. So that's all we got right now for the new signs. We do have the draft to cover, which we haven't even talked about yet, which was awesome to see.
Right.
But let's get into that here. Selected number 1 overall. This was a big shocker, I think, for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Forward Juraj Slavkovsky was selected by Montreal. And a good quote from him on this. He's from Slovakia. He says, quote, "If a team passes on me, I will fill their nets when I face them." So I really hope that that's like, I don't speak English very well, and like this is like what I'm going to go with. I was like, that was great. Really cool to see. So this was like the weirdest order I've ever seen now. Like Shane Wright was predicted to go number 1 for the longest time. Slavkovsky overtook him, and then he just fell down the board a bit. The New Jersey Devils selected defenseman Simon Nemec, and the Arizona Coyotes selected forward Logan Cooley, which left Seattle picking number 4 to land on Shane Wright, which is awesome. Like, I saw a picture from training camp the other day, I believe it was. Shane Wright and Matty Beniers on the ice together.
Yeah.
That's going to be sick, dude. Like, think about how different the league is going to look in 5 to 10 years. The talent that Seattle has in the gun, like loaded, ready to go. Montreal, Detroit, Colorado, like all of these teams with their young players. LA, we talked about. I'm going to jump off of a little bridge here. Montreal's building blocks here. Forwards that are 22 or younger. Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, Kirby Doc, we're going to get to later on, and Juraj Slavkovsky. Like, I think Montreal and Detroit are going to be going head-to-head to come out of the East in the future. Like, for a couple of years in a row.
Yeah.
It's going to be nuts.
So, I want to talk about Shane Wright, because I had this conversation with Blanchard from my hockey team. So, if you watch, like, Hey Berkey on, I think it's Sportsnet or whatever, YouTube, he has a few videos that talks about what it's like to be in a draft and what it's like to sit down and talk to these guys, because everyone has, like, an interview. And Brian Burke is great at saying, like, this guy could be, like, the best player in the world, but have the shittiest fucking, like, personality. And a lot of teams are just like, I'd rather deal with someone with, like, a good hockey player with a good personality than one of the best with a shit one. And I think we saw that with Shane Wright.
Oh, you think so? Is that you, like, predicting, or is it, like, what you heard from Hey Berkey?
No, it's not. That's me predicting.
No,
and I
okay,
think we
cool,
saw that
cool.
with Shane Wright when he was picked first overall, and he just gave Montreal, like, that stare down.
Yeah.
And then he was, like, liking stuff on, like, Instagram of just, like, Shane Wright shitting on Montreal Canadiens, and then Shane Wright, I think, came out and said something about the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, I have the quote here. I'm definitely going to have a chip on my shoulder from this, that's for sure. A little bit more motivation. And, I mean, the two teams are going to meet up on December 6th, so that'll be cool to see.
So, I think it might have been Montreal. Sat down and talked with them, and just, like, after talking to them, with, like, especially with that attitude, it'd be like, I would rather not have that on our team.
That's a bit of speculation, but I like that. You know, that's interesting. That's a cool way to look at it.
Yeah. Because he brought up, Dave brought up 1992, I think it was. That when Chris Pronger was drafted. I think Chris Pronger was drafted 2nd overall, and, like, there was this guy that I don't even know his name. I'm trying to off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember his name. But he was, like, supposed to be, like, one of the best players, but he had, like, the shittiest attitude. Went absolutely nowhere in the league, and here's Chris Pronger, just great attitude, great player that just now is just a household name.
Wow, yeah, 1993, Chris Pronger was drafted 2nd overall by Hartford, and 1st overall was Alexander Daigle.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
From what I see, he played for the Victoriaville Tigers, while Pronger played for the Peterborough Petes.
Yeah, I heard he's just not, like, a good personality person, not a good person, and Daigle, kind of just fell by the wayside, and because Chris Pronger is a good guy, now he's a household
nuts.
name.
Yeah, that's an interesting speculation. I mean, that's just, like, what we think here right now is what I would say about all that. I think Slavkovsky, the Slovakian team, like, in general, he really shined at the Olympics and the World Juniors, I want to say. He brought gold to Slovakia with teammates, I believe, Simon Nemec and Philip Massar. But, I mean, I don't really know why they did, but Bob McKenzie also bumped Slavkovsky up over Shane Wright, so it definitely had something to do with skills and things that were going on.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with potential ceiling and where the player can go as well. But I think New Jersey definitely needed a defenseman more than they needed a forward when it came to Shane Wright and the Jack Hughes and situation there. Logan Cooley going to Arizona. I don't really know too much about him, so I don't know. I don't think Shane Wright should be. I guess I don't think that he should like keep this grudge about him, but I think it's definitely something to remember. Like the sports psychology behind this can like ruin a guy.
Oh,
the fact that he's moving from 1 to 4,
right.
But it can also make a guy too. So
right.
hopefully that's where it goes. 26th overall, Montreal actually picked Slavkovsky's teammate, Philip Massar. He's a forward as well. There was really cool behind-the-scenes footage at the draft showing Slavkovsky embracing his childhood friend, which was Massar. They played together like their whole life, which is awesome.
That's cool.
They're both going to go play for the Canadiens. And Simon Nemec was also there to congratulate them after he got drafted 2nd overall for the Devils.
That's the dream.
Yeah, definitely really cool. Like 3 of your friends, like your countrymen, going to play. That's awesome. And then 31st overall, this was interesting too. Forward Isaac Howard, his nickname's the Iceman. He shows up in the draft with his own fashion style. This is kind of weird to me, but he said, quote, "I think I'm the best looking guy here, so I decided to be the best dressed too." His confidence is just through the roof. Like unreal. The only other weird little quirk I saw in this draft was 80th overall, 3rd round pick, Vancouver drafted defenseman Elias Pettersson.
Another one, man.
It's another twin, I guess. This guy is actually an 18-year-old from the Swedish Junior League, so be on the lookout for Pettersson assisting Pettersson on a goal. It'll be like the next Sedin twins.
Yeah, I was going to say, yep.
Hilarious.
Spelt the same way, said the same way.
Anything else you have on the draft? I mean, that's all I really had for notes.
No, not really. The whole Shane Wright thing was massive. You know what? Now that we have time, we took it off the notes, but I do want to bring it up. The Bruce Boudreau thing.
Yeah, go for it.
With that?
Yeah.
There's a clip of Bruce Boudreau, who, as all you fans know, we love the Big Caboose here. A Big Caboose Bruce here. So he was one of the announcers, or what do you call it? The commentators for the NHL draft. It just makes sense that he's a good WWE fan, and I don't know why Kevin Owens, Kevin Hart?
Yeah, Kevin Owens.
I don't know why he was there, but he came down, and his Bruce Boudreau just like
Kid in a candy shop,
just like meeting like the star of the night, just like, oh my god, like he was like getting beat red. And, oh my God, was that just, like, priceless. It was, like, it really showed, like, Bruce Boudreau is just, like, everyone's, like, favorite uncle, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, like, this is just him. I loved it.
Yeah, I don't follow wrestling at all, but I thought it was hilarious. I didn't put 2 and 2 together there that he's the coach of the Vancouver Canucks, and that's why you jumped to that now. I was like, why are we talking about wrestling right now? But, yeah, I thought it was funny to see, too. A little starstruck action from an NHL coach. You don't see that often.
Especially for a wrestling guy. Be like, oh, God, I've been following you this entire time. I'm getting beat red. And I don't know who the woman was on the, I can't remember her name, but she goes, oh, Bruce, you're fine. And he was like, ah.
That's so funny.
It was just so funny. Just
a little more personality around the league, too.
Yeah,
cool to see. You want to dive into the trades here, too? I can let you start it off.
Oh, yeah. We got like another 10 pages worth of trades. So we'll start off with Tampa Bay Lightning. They acquired defenseman Philip Myers from the Nashville Predators in exchange for defenseman Ryan McDonough. Nick Kyprios, there we go, of Sportsnet reported that if McDonough didn't agree to waive his no-trade clause, Tampa Bay had an agreement with Columbus to place him on waivers and they would pick him up. McDonough was not thrilled about going to Nashville, but he wanted to be in control of where he was going to in the end. Interesting.
It's kind of weird to see a one-for-one trade here, too, when it comes to Philip Myers and Ryan McDonough. Like,
right.
I think that the comparison for Detroit picking up David Perron is very similar to Nashville picking up Ryan McDonough. I think he's going to be a great veteran voice in the locker room for those guys in Nashville, too.
So far today, as of today, there's not a lot of one-for-ones at all.
Yeah, we do have another one to cover later on, too, but there aren't. There's always some kind of extra stipulation to it. Philip Myers, only 25 years old, played 4 years in the NHL so far, 3 for the Flyers and 1 for the Predators. So That's really cool to see. So I think that Tampa Bay really fleeced them there a little bit too, in the sense that, he's just going to go to waivers
pretty much
if I don't get something for him. Yep. And they get a nice young prospect in Philip Myers.
Philip Myers is going to be a solid D for them too.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay's got to do some movement here too.
Yeah, I hear rumors that Andre Palat is going to explore free agency too, so that's a big one. They did have a lot of signs and trades as well, but these ones that we're going to cover now, we're basically starting from during the draft, all of these trades, and working our way hopefully a little bit chronologically, maybe a little bit off. Mm-hmm. We may have missed a couple, but we're going to double back next week and make sure that we cover everything that happens.
Yep, because there was a whole lot. Guarantee you I missed something. Guarantee it. But we're definitely gonna track back and see what we might have missed, what we can add, especially for next episode. And hopefully by next episode this is all kind of said and done with, and like the next after that episode, maybe the next trades or signs or like something small.
Yeah, it's gonna quiet down over the next 2 weeks, and it'll give us good time to catch up and really analyze everything and see what the starting lineups are really gonna look like here.
Right. So
if you want to save our voices a little bit too, we can go one for one here. You can start it off with Colorado, and we can alternate.
I was gonna say my allergies are killing me right now. So we're gonna start off with Darcy Kuemper with him leaving Colorado because Colorado has acquired goalie Alexander Georgiev from the New York Rangers in exchange for a 3rd-round pick and 5th-round pick in the 2022 NHL draft and 3rd-round pick in the 2023 draft. So these are the picks that they made in the 2022 draft. The Rangers' 3rd pick was Bryce McConnell-Barker, who was a center. The Rangers' 5th pick was Vittorio Mancini, who's a defenseman. And then the Avalanche signed Georgiev to a 3-year, $10.2 million contract, $3.4 million AAV. So they really wanted him in net. I think, in my head, Georgiev's a better goalie than Darcy Kuemper.
I agree. I think it's an upgrade for them. I think it is tough to ship away a guy after winning a cup, though. Like, it's kind of like,
yeah,
I don't know, man. Like, he just got the job done. We were talking about this, like, last week, maybe a couple episodes ago, about has there ever been an NHL coach to win a Stanley Cup and not be brought back the next year?
Yep.
You don't usually see a goalie win an NHL, win the Stanley Cup and then not be with the same team next season. So definitely interesting to see. Georgiev has a ton of potential, so hopefully Colorado can be a real threat again next season. And I think they will, just because, they're front-loaded, they're good defensively, and the goaltending isn't what won them the Cup, personally.
Right.
Just an opinion.
Right.
You all good there?
Yep.
All right, cool. So Ottawa acquired forward Alex DeBrincat from Chicago in exchange for the number 7 pick in the 2022 NHL draft, along with a 2nd-round pick in 22, which was number 39, and a 3rd-round pick in 2024. With the number 7 pick overall, the Chicago Blackhawks picked Kevin Korchinski, a defenseman, and in the 2nd round, they picked Ryan Green, a center. This was kind of interesting, too. Like, this really shows how the city feels here. The Blackhawks Instagram account took the time to thank DeBrincat for everything he's done for the team, and the city of Chicago's Instagram account commented with a single letter L, voicing everyone's displeasure with Chicago's fire sale.
Chicago, I mean, we're gonna go through this, but Chicago right now is going through the definition of a total rebrand, a total rebuild, because this is exactly what we saw in the draft. This is exactly what we're seeing right now with the trades and free agents. It's just Chicago's just getting fucking rid of everyone. And
yeah.
Just like, we are starting from the bottom up.
It just doesn't make sense to me, because I think DeBrincat's a guy that really shined this season. I got to stop using that, man. I got to find a new word. But he's a guy that really, produced this season. This is a word. Yeah, and I think that they have a lot of potential in him, and they could have kept him. He could have been something to build around, and they're just like, no, we're going to get a couple picks for you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just weird.
I mean, when you start from the bottom up, you got to get picks, right? So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Now that you say that, it's like it sparks something in my mind where just like, I wonder if teams are just like, we'll give you a few draft picks for that player right there, and Chicago might be like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, that's basically exactly what just happened, Matt.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
Right. No, I'm just saying, like, later down the road, like, next week or something like that, we might see something crazy.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I feel like it's all kind of happening right now, but...
Right. All right, so moving on from Chicago, the New York Islanders acquired defenseman Alexander Romanov and fourth-round pick in the 2022 NHL Draft from the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for the number 13 pick in the 2022 NHL Draft. So the Islanders' fourth-round pick was Isaiah George, a defenseman, and then the Canadiens had the 13th pick, and then they took that 13th pick and traded it to Chicago. We'll call back to Chicago, just getting picks.
That's a callback.
Yep.
Interesting little snippet that I thought of here. Alexander Romanov, 22-year-old defenseman from Moscow, Russia initially. He played 2 basic full seasons with the Montreal Canadiens. He's doing all right, holding his own, eating up ice time, etc. But do you think that teams are looking at Russian players and thinking, man, I don't really know what's going to happen next season with the NHL, with Russian players, all these kinds of things, and they're saying maybe I get out from under this player and invest my stock into players from a different country because of all the things going on. We're going to get into it later on with Ivan Fedotov and Kirill Kaprizov and all the things that are going on in general.
Maybe. That's an interesting take.
Right? Maybe they're like, hey, we have this Russian prospect, but we think we might be safer having a prospect from a different
Somewhere
country
else.
just in case,
Mm-hmm.
Like, as bad as that sounds, like, that's just business at the end of the day, right? But kind of nuts.
I feel like when we talk to my brother about the Bruins, I think now that, like, we understand, like, yeah, you like this player, but in the end, like, this is business. Like,
Yeah.
I get this is hockey, it's a sport, but it's more business than anything.
Yeah, I think the everyday fan too. Not to say Shane's an everyday fan. He's a pretty heavy fan in the Bruins.
Yeah.
But I think the everyday fan does look at their team and their players and like love them because of what they do for their city, what they do for their team. And at the end of the day, the organization can't look at it like that. If you get too attached to, a pet, you can't send it to the slaughter. Right? If it has a name, you can't make beef jerky out of it, right?
Nope, not at all. Can't do it.
But we'll move right along here, too. The Montreal Canadiens acquired forward Kirby Dach from the Chicago Blackhawks in exchange for that number 13 pick and a third-round pick in the 2022 NHL Draft. Their 13th pick from the Blackhawks that Montreal selected was Frank Nazar, center. And their third-round... Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the Blackhawks player, isn't it?
No. So the so...
The Blackhawks selected...
So
Montreal gave the Blackhawks a 13th pick.
I was trying to figure out where you were.
This is who the Blackhawks selected with their picks.
Yes.
They took number 13th overall, Frank Nazar as center, and in the third round they took Gavin Hayes a forward.
Yeah.
And that's what they gave away for Kirby Dach.
Yep.
This will be a cool document to save and look at maybe 5 years from now or a couple years from now and see where these picks turn out, so you can really see who won out in the trade kind of thing,
Mm-hmm. Right.
Even to see like those trade trees. There was one that just ended that we talked about, a few episodes back, but kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. So moving off that, we have the Arizona Coyotes. They acquired the number 11th pick in the 2022 NHL Draft from the San Jose Sharks in exchange for the number 27 pick and 2 second-round picks in the 2022 NHL Draft. So the Coyotes got the 11th pick, which was Connor Geekie, center. The Sharks' 27th pick was Philip Bysted, center. Then the Sharks' second-round picks were Cameron Lund, a center, and Matthias Havlid, defenseman. Connor Geekie from the Coyotes actually this week got injured, and what was that camp? Development camp.
Oh, that's brutal. Do you know how he got injured? What he hurt or no?
It was like a lower body injury.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They don't usually say what it is.
Yeah.
That's nuts. I've seen this name quite a bit, and I don't know why or where I have, because he's 18 years old. He plays in the WHL for the Winnipeg Ice. So I think it might just be from prospect pools and seeing, like, random snippets of him. But I kind of thought that he was more than he was. I thought he was like a college player or something.
Right.
Moving right along, though, not really much to cover there where it's just picks. The Chicago Blackhawks acquired goaltender Peter Mrazek in the number 25 pick in the 2022 NHL Draft from the Maple Leafs in exchange for second-round pick in the 2022 NHL Draft. So the Blackhawks will have Mrazek in net next season, which is kind of nuts to me.
Yep.
Their 25th pick overall was Sam Renzel, a defenseman, and the Maple Leafs second-round pick was Fraser Minton, a center.
Nice. I like the Peter Mrazek pickup.
You do?
I do. I like the Peter Mrazek.
I feel like Chicago is, when you look at the grand scheme of things, it's like small Detroit or big Detroit, however you want to look at it. They're like the same, I feel like,
Yeah.
And now he's in a comparable city, comparable team, and we'll see where it takes him. Why do you like Mrazek to Chicago?
Because he got the hell out of Toronto.
Yeah, that's a good idea, yeah.
and he's got like a kind of like a brand new team to kind of work with.
Brand new team that's selling everyone.
Selling everyone. Yep.
That
so
doesn't
maybe
sound
he could
great.
be sold too. Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, I like the Peter Mrazek pickup. I wonder how he'll do. Talking about Peter Mrazek, Carolina wasn't as good as they were, as they have been, and Peter Mrazek was one of those goalies that just stood on his head for the team. So I wonder if he could do the same thing for the Chicago Blackhawks. Probably very doubtful next season in my head.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But we're going to move on to this Arizona Coyotes. They acquired forward Zach Cashin, number 29 pick in the 2022 NHL Draft, third-round pick in the 2024 NHL Draft, and second-round pick in the 2025 NHL Draft from Edmonton Oilers in exchange for number 32 pick in the 2022 NHL Draft. That is a lot of movements for a pick. And so those picks for the Coyotes, the 29th pick was Maverick Lamoureux, a defenseman, and then the Oilers' 32nd pick was Reed Schaefer, a forward. There was a lot of movement there for the Oilers to get that Reed Schaefer guy. They must have been all over him.
No, it wasn't about that. It was about getting rid of Zach Cassian's contract, and I was actually just looking up to see if Edmonton had to retain any of that contract, and they did not. They overpaid him out the ass, so dumping that contract onto Arizona was huge for them, but they did have to give away a ton of assets for it, so that's what that whole move was all about.
Gotcha.
I think Zach Cassian's a great player, don't get me wrong. He brings a lot to the locker room, into the on-ice, atmosphere, I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
But, dude, they just overpaid him big time, and for them to get out from under that contract is huge for Edmonton. It probably opened up the space that they made for Evander Kane, honestly, when I look at it like that, because that trade happened on draft night.
Yep.
Moving right along, though, the Detroit Red Wings acquired their probably backup right behind Mrazek. They got another goaltender, Willie Husso, from the St. Louis Blues in exchange for a third-round pick in 2022.
Well, you're getting confused there because the Chicago Blackhawks picked up.
That's
Mrazek.
That's right, because Detroit and Chicago are the same in my eyes. So it's all one big team with 4 goalies. The Blues' third-round pick, Alex Santeri Kaskamaki, forward. Upon his trade, the Detroit Red Wings did sign Willie Husso to a 3-year contract for $14.25 million, a $4.75 million AAV. So, who's in Detroit right now other than Husso?
I'm actually, as soon as you said that, I'm trying to think. Who the hell was the goalie? Didn't he move too?
I believe so. That's why this stuff gets so weird. Like, with all of the moves we had last season and now all of the moves this season, like, I really am having trouble keeping up. But Willie Husso and Nedeljkovic, that's right. He came over from
that's right.
Carolina.
Yep.
I'm cheating too, so it looks like I'm way smarter than Matt. I have a computer in front of me, and I'm just Googling everything. So I know nothing either. But yeah, so per Daily Faceoff, they have Husso starting over Nedeljkovic, which is interesting too.
Interesting.
Right.
I feel like Nedeljkovic.
I mean, that could flip in training camp, honestly.
Easily. So moving on from that, because I got really nothing to add to that. Do you?
Nope, that's good.
I had nothing. The New Jersey Devils acquired goaltender Vitek Vanacek from the Washington Capitals in exchange for a second-round pick and third-round pick in the 2022 NHL Draft. So the Caps' second-round pick was Ryan Chesley, a defenseman, and then the Caps' third-round pick was Alexander Suzdalev, who's a forward. I don't know. 2-round picks for Vitek Vanacek? That was kind of rough to see.
That's pretty good, don't you think? I mean, to get 2 picks for a guy in this year's draft, and you do it on draft day, like, that's a last-minute thing. Like, I think that Vanacek is such a good goalie. I think he's gonna shine in New Jersey. I think he's gonna do really well for himself. And to get two picks right now for Vanacek, like same day, what do you think? Like, what do you think Vanacek would be worth if you were to trade him? If you think it's more or less than a second and a third?
More.
What would you say he's worth?
Depending on the trade.
All right, real quick though, going back, Husso is 27 and Nedeljkovic is 26. They're about the same age, so they're probably just going to weigh their options and see who's better.
Yeah.
1A, 1B. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry. I just wanted to get that out before I forgot.
I don't know. Vitek Vanacek, he was a starter for the Washington Capitals, so you're just getting rid of your starter for 2 picks. That wasn't a fan of mine. And then you just get rid of Samsonov, too, for, I don't know. It was just, it's such a weird.
Then what is he worth? If it's more than a second and a third in the 2022 draft, what do you think he's worth?
Maybe second and third and a player as well.
Like, what kind of player? Like, there's a lot of different players.
Not
like
a goalie. Maybe like a defenseman.
Yeah, like where, though? Top pair, middle pair, bottom pair?
Maybe top pair.
Top pair defenseman for a guy that's played 81 NHL games.
I think he's worth it.
No way. No chance. He's got a 271, 907. Definitely very good. You're selling high on him, but I think, personally, I thought a second and third was okay for him. I think you praise him a lot more than you should. I mean, he only played 2 games. No, sorry. That's weird. So he got sent down and brought back up. Mm-hmm. He played 44 games last season. The last 2 of the season that he was brought back up for, a 4.21 GAA, 863 save percentage. That's nuts. Anyways, no, I just thought it was interesting. I wanted to see where you thought.
That's my thoughts. Just my opinions.
Yeah, that's good. The Philadelphia Flyers acquired defenseman Tony DeAngelo and a 7th round pick in the 2022 NHL draft from the Carolina Hurricanes in exchange for a 4th round in 2022, a 3rd round conditional in 23, and a 2nd round in 2024.
Wow. The
Flyers' 7th round was Alexis Gendron, forward, and the Hurricanes' 4th round pick was Simon Forsmark, a defenseman. Philadelphia then went on to sign DeAngelo to a 2-year, $10 million contract, $5 million AAV, and I can't wait to see the sparks fly between him and Torts next season.
I don't know. It's just like these signs and the fact that we're seeing Tony DeAngelo go to the Philadelphia Flyers. It keeps reminding me of the Broad Street Bullies.
Yeah, he's definitely going to bring that Tom Wilson aspect to the team, I think. The one thing I'll say about this is I put DeAngelo and Evander Kane in the same boat. I think DeAngelo, did basically the same thing. Got signed, had a second chance, kicked ass, really earned this contract. But the Flyers understand that and said, we're only giving you 2. We're not giving you more than that, Mm-hmm. I think Kane's name brings a lot more weight to it than DeAngelo does because he's putting the puck in the back of the net. But $5 million is a lot of money for this guy, don't you think?
A lot, yeah.
I mean, the picks at the end of the day, they kind of wash. But Tony in a 7th in this draft, a 4th round this draft, a 3rd round conditional, and a 2nd round in the next one. That's nuts. That's a lot. A lot of movement there.
Yeah. I don't know. They thought it was a good move.
I think it might be as long as things all shake out. But if the Flyers are as bad as they were last season, I don't expect Tony DeAngelo to last long.
No.
I think he's going to get pissed off and do something really weird and get kicked off the team or something like that.
And it's going to be content and a half for us because it's probably going to be Tortorella, beat red in the face. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Can't wait. So we got the Toronto Maple Leafs. They acquired a 3rd round pick and 5th round pick in the 2022 NHL draft from the Vegas Golden Knights in exchange for a 3rd round pick in the 2022 NHL draft. So the Maple Leafs' 3rd round pick was Nicholas Moldenhauer, who's a forward. And then the Maple Leafs' 5th round pick was Nikita Grebenkick. Oh my God, these names are just brutal here. Nikita Grebenkick, who's a forward. And then for the Golden Knights, their 3rd round pick was Jordan Gustafsson, who's a center. So, I don't know. I got really nothing to add to this.
Yeah, so the Leafs threw a 3rd and a 5th at Vegas for their 3rd round pick. So they must have moved up in the 3rd to get a certain guy. Wow, so that's really interesting.
Yeah, right.
This is probably going to be, for the most part, a lot of people just shifting picks right now. Tampa Bay acquired a 3rd round pick in the 2022 NHL draft from the LA Kings in exchange for a 4th round and a 6th round pick in the draft. The Lightning selected in the 3rd round Lucas Edmonds, a forward, and the Kings selected in the 4th round Kenny Connors, a center, and in the 6th round Jared Wright, a forward, which I feel like I've heard his name before too.
I feel like I've heard his name too. I literally looked him up, and I guess there's nothing. I thought it was maybe Shane Wright or something, but nope, nothing. Not even a comparison. Jared Wright just sounds so familiar, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. I got nothing out of that. These are just really just
keep it
draft
rolling.
picks. Yep. The Seattle Kraken acquire 3rd round pick in the 2022 NHL draft from the Boston Bruins in exchange for a 4th round and 5th round pick in the 2022 NHL draft. So the Kraken's 3rd round pick was Ty Nelson, a defenseman. The Bruins' 4th round pick was Cole Spicer, who's a center. And then the Bruins' 5th round pick was Frederick Brunette, who's a defenseman.
Is that the guy that your brother sent? I said I was going to look into him, and I never did. Didn't he send? He sent one of the picks and said oh, this guy looks pretty good, but I forgot to look into that. The Arizona Coyotes, though, they acquired a third-round pick in the 2022 draft from the Blackhawks in exchange for their third-round pick in the 2023 draft. The Coyotes this year selected in the third round Mikko Matika, a forward.
What a name. Love it.
I like that.
I love it. Moving off of that, the San Jose Sharks acquired forward Luke Kunin from the Nashville Predators in exchange for forward John Leonard and a third-round pick in the 2023 NHL draft. Looks like San Jose Sharks are trying to get back to where they were. Not enough, though. Not enough.
Yeah, I don't know either of those guys.
Still not.
That's not going to move the needle.
Still not going to do anything. Still not doing anything at all. Sharks, they need to do something.
The Toronto Maple Leafs acquired a fourth-round pick in the 2022 draft from the Predators in exchange for a fourth-round pick in the 23 draft. And the Maple Leafs this year selected goaltender Dennis Hildeby.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of. This is the rounds where a bunch of goalies are going to get picked up. But I want to go back to that San Jose Sharks because I keep thinking about that Aiden Hill. The Aiden Hill where just like, remember that dude smiling? I don't know if he was a coach. Looked like he was a bum they just picked up off the streets. And Aiden Hill just gave him like a joke and like he's smiling just like, know what I'm talking about?
No, not at all.
Oh, man. I thought I showed you that. No, Aiden Hill was mic'd up for the San Jose Sharks. And like he was talking to some coach or something like that on the ice. He's got like a baseball cap on, long brown hair, and like a smile. Got no teeth at all. I'm just like, you picked this guy up off like the streets to coach.
Hey,
guys?
knock it off, dude. Brent Burns looks just like that guy. That's probably who he was talking to. Brent Burns probably had a hat on. Yeah, you're like, oh, look at this bum. One of the best defensemen in the NHL.
What a bum. Moving on. So we got the Vegas Golden Knights acquired fourth-round pick in the 2022 NHL draft from the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for a fourth-round pick in the 2023 NHL draft. So that Golden Knights fourth-round pick was Cameron Whitehead, who was a goalie.
And the Columbus Blue Jackets took a fifth-round pick in the 2022 draft from the San Jose Sharks in exchange for a fifth round in the 23 for goalie Sergei Ivanov.
I think I just recently looked him up, Sergei Ivanov. He is fast as shit. He just reminds me of Andrei Vasilevsky, like his push.
Is he that big too, or no?
He's not that big, but he is quick on his feet. I was it's like a minute clip. It's actually pretty good to see.
Okay.
The Chicago Blackhawks acquired forward Liam Gorman from the Pittsburgh Penguins in exchange for a sixth-round pick in the 2022 NHL draft. So the Penguins' sixth-round pick was Nolan Collins, a defenseman. A lot of defensemen getting picked up.
Know what I'm thinking about all this too, which is pretty cool to me? Like, we're seeing all this movement, all this action, and us recapping it, it's kind of like, yeah, kind of boring. But like, during draft day, I don't know what the time frame that they have for all these picks, but some of these happen like while they're on the clock, supposed to be making a pick.
Yeah.
And they're on the phone with another team saying, hey, give me this, that, and the other thing, and I'll give you this pick. You know what I mean? And they're making things happen in a matter of, let's say, 5 minutes. Like,
yeah.
It's pretty fucking cool.
Like, literally, like, hey, I got to go up there in, like, 2 minutes.
Yeah, and it can, like, change the future of your organization.
Isn't
like,
that nuts?
By picking whatever you're picking, you know?
I'm sure there's crazy stories out there.
It's pretty cool. But, I mean, it's just me and you reading these off. It doesn't, like, do it justice to what actually happened. This is all on draft day.
Right.
The Blackhawks acquired a sixth-round pick in the 2022 NHL draft from the Hurricanes in exchange for a sixth-round pick next year in the 23 draft. The Blackhawks this year took Dominic James, a center.
Again with the picks, again with the Blackhawks. The Arizona Coyotes acquired a seventh-round pick in the 2022 NHL draft from the San Jose Sharks in exchange for a seventh-round pick in the 2023 NHL draft. So the Coyotes' seventh-round pick was Adam Zinka, a forward.
I feel like while we're looking at this too, right? You're getting a pick this year and giving away a pick next year that's in the same exact round.
Yeah.
And you have intel, like, right? You're the Coyotes, right? You're like, this Adam Zinka guy that we really like.
Yeah.
We want him this year. We don't know if San Jose knows a lot about him. We'll call them and say, we'll give you a seventh-round pick next year. It's literally the same value.
Yeah.
Because it's the same round, same talent pool, but it's just a year later.
Yeah.
And we want our guy, and we're gonna go get him. Like that's an interesting way to look at this too, right? Did you have anything to add to it?
No, I just feel like that was like one of the most even trades, I think.
Yeah, there's been a few of those. I feel like like even the Blackhawks one from before, where they took Dominic James, was a sixth this year for a sixth next year, and this next one's also like that too. The Panthers took a seventh this year, and gave the Penguins a seventh next year to take Liam Arnsby. So it seems kind of cool that teams are all right with doing this when it's this late in the draft. Like, you would never see that in the first, second, third round because everyone knows those guys. You know what I mean? All the scouts are looking at them and, like, they know everything about them. But when you get down this low, if you can find a guy that you're like, I want to, bet my horse on this guy and get that and delay them for a year, like, that's so worth it.
Right. To us, these guys are like no names, but to like the scouts out there, like these are like names that
in a few years they could be something. Yeah,
like you need that guy.
Yeah.
The LA Kings acquired a 7th-round pick in the 2022 NHL draft from the Boston Bruins in exchange for a 7th-round pick in the 2023 NHL draft. So the Kings' 7th-round pick was Caleb Lawrence, a forward. I just realized we talked about this right before recording, like, hey, we gotta stop coughing into the mic, and then like as soon as we start recording, my allergies are just through the roof. I'm like, ugh.
Yum. Hope you guys enjoy it.
Yep.
But now we're gonna get into the fun stuff from draft night. This is gonna lean out of draft night and into the next day. But this is less draft focused and more, now stars, studs, etc. The Toronto Maple Leafs have acquired goaltender Matt Murray, a 3rd-round pick in the 2023 draft, and a 7th in the 2024 draft from the Ottawa Senators in exchange for future considerations and the retention of 25% of Murray's contract. That's nuts.
Why does Toronto want Matt Murray?
I think this is a contract dump from Ottawa, which is great for them because they overpaid out the ass after he won a cup.
Yep.
Much like maybe we'll see Washington end up with Darcy Kemper, who won Murray won back-to-back, so I mean that's pretty big.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's the comparison I'm making. Toronto gets 2 picks as well, which they're going to need some future eventually, right? And Ottawa gets out of that contract. That's really it. Future considerations can kiss my ass.
Right, 100%.
But Ottawa and Buffalo, interestingly enough, were in deep trade talks for Matt Murray, but Murray had Buffalo on his no-trade list.
Yeah.
He's like, I'd rather let my career die than go there. And let my career die.
I'd rather deal with the Toronto media than deal with
He's going to get
Buffalo.
flamed. Dude, if I were him, I would go in, play my ass off, do as best as I can, and, like, regardless win or lose, just not give a fuck what the media says. Just, like, don't care. Like, Phil Kessel it,
Right. But they're going to ask, he's the goalie, too, so they're going to be all over him at, like, post-game, sorry.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Like, I texted you, I said, like, what is Matt Murray thinking going here? Like, you are just going to get flamed the entire time.
Yeah.
What is Toronto thinking picking him up? Like, now we have an excuse for when we lose in the first round again next year? Like,
right.
What are we doing?
I don't get it.
Just weird.
I don't get it at all.
Toronto fans must be going nuts.
Oh, 100%.
It must be bullshit.
Let's go back to Ottawa because the Ottawa Senators acquired goalie Cam Talbot from the Minnesota Wild in exchange for goaltender Philip Gustafsson. I think this is a solid trade. I think it's like a great trade. I think both Wild and Senators picked up good goaltending. That's all I really got to say of that. Unless you want to look up Cam Talbot.
Yeah, I'm going to look up Philip Gustafsson, actually. He's only 24 years old, so I feel like they're buying a guy that's like a win-now kind of guy in Cam Talbot and giving away a guy that can win in the future in Philip Gustafsson,
Yep.
Boston, actually, another one-for-one trade, acquired forward Pavel Zacha from New Jersey in exchange for forward Eric Haula.
Nice.
I am going to look this one up, actually, because I told your brother I would. Shout out, Shane. Pavel Zacha, 25 years old. Zacha, I don't know how to say it.
Zacha.
Been with the Devils since 2015. He actually really produced last season and the year before. He kind of found his own little home in New Jersey. Here's to hoping that, it continues in Boston. And, Eric Hall is 31 years old, probably heading towards the end of his, not end of his career, but, towards the end of the road a little bit.
Right.
Been on a lot of teams, a little bit of a suitcase, 534 career games. I think he did pretty well for the Bruins, but he's not the guy that's going to get you over the hump. Zacha looks like he could be, the future of the organization where he has more years under his belt. More years in his future rather than under his belt like Haula does.
Right.
So let's see. Hopefully he turns into something good.
Right. Hopefully the Bruins actually do something right,
That's right. He was a first-round draft pick, number 6 overall as well in 2015.
Oh, hey.
How about that?
Moving off of that, we have the Carolina Hurricanes acquired defenseman Brent Burns.
Ooh.
We're just talking about him. And forward Lane Pedersen from the San Jose Sharks in exchange for forward Steven Lawrence, goalie Eetu Makiniemi, and a 2023 conditional third-round pick. San Jose will also retain 33% of Burns' salary. Big move. I did not expect Burnsy to move.
Yeah, Aiden Hill won't be talking to him anymore, huh?
Oh.
33% of the salary is pretty big for San Jose to eat. Carolina better hope that they're getting some production out of Brent Burns and Lane Pedersen, because I don't think San Jose really got anything. A conditional pick, a goaltending prospect, and a forward that I've never heard of, Kind of nuts. I mean, it's really about the salary dump, I think, at the end of the day.
That's interesting. That's going to be interesting to see Brent Burns in the East.
Yeah, I mean, also, that is really cool to see. I mean, we're going to see him a lot more on our televisions.
Right.
I wonder what they're going to do about Erik Karlsson next, Is he going to get salary dumped somewhere?
Oh,
he got paid big time.
Wow.
Or maybe he's the new Brent Burns. You sound. But that's it for, the big trades, all the free agent signings that we had.
Yeah.
We got a lot more to do next week.
We're already sweating thinking about it.
I was going to ask you, like, what are your closing thoughts? But, like, I feel like there's so much that happened. Like, we can't even think right now,
No.
I don't really have much.
Like, there was a bunch of moves, bunch of trades, and at this point now, thinking about it, I'm like, wait, what team has what now?
Yeah.
I have to, like, literally just, like...
My mind's in a pretzel.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to look at, like, daily face-off, the line combinations for, like, the next week.
Yeah.
And just
like,
just watch them all move.
Like yeah. I don't know. That's it for this week.
Trades and signings.
Yep.
And the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're on to the regular news. We aren't going to really cover anything out of the ordinary. Joey Chestnuts put a guy in a headlock on 4th of July for protesting during his hot dog eating contest. Other than that, it's all hockey news here.
Yep.
The NHL released some key schedule dates for next season, including the NHL Global Series, which is October 7th and 8th, Nashville versus San Jose in Czechia, and November 4th and 5th, Colorado versus Columbus in Finland.
Nice.
The Winter Classic is January 2nd, Pittsburgh at Boston at Fenway Park.
Yep.
All-Star Weekend, February 3rd and 4th in Sunrise, Florida. The first Stanley Cup Final rematch game is going to be February 9th, 23, when Colorado returns to Tampa Bay in Amalie Arena.
They're both going to be different teams at that point.
Yeah. No Darcy Kemper. I mean, potentially no Andre Palat.
Yep. No Ryan McDonough.
Yeah, no Ryan McDonough. Nikita Nichushkin will be there.
Nichushkin, yeah.
He'll definitely be there. The Stadium Series will be on February 18th, Washington at Carolina at Carter Finley Stadium.
I like the Stadium Series, to be honest.
Dude, we were talking about that when it got announced. We were both like, why the fuck do we do this? This is useless. You like it?
No, the only reason why I say I like it was because of I feel like those Stadium Series jerseys.
The jerseys
are
sick.
always so
I'll give you
sick.
that. Yeah. The LA one, I forget who they played outdoors, but those were nasty in LA. Stadium Series. It's kind of cool, but like it's a little overdone.
Right.
Like they're just trying to make money at this point.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's just like you have the Winter Classic. Just leave it at the Winter Classic.
Yeah. I'll tackle this one here, too. After Brock Besser's signing in Vancouver, which we covered last week, the Star actually took to Instagram to let fans know he was excited to be back for another 3 years and tagged Cal Peterson of the LA Kings in his picture of him scoring a goal. And Cal said, "Are you kidding me with this?" in a comment. And defenseman Will Borgen of the Seattle Kraken chimed in out of nowhere, said, "Shouldn't have been standing there." Fucking hilarious. And then
just fucking roasting a goalie.
Yeah, and then Besser's goalie on the Canucks, Thatcher Demko, commented, "Now you can pay for my bachelor party." And Besser wasn't having any of that. Shut that idea down immediately. Says, "No way." Hilarious.
I just like this. I wonder if these guys like talk to each other. I wonder if that, like, are you kidding me? Was just like a
he
joke.
had to have. Like I don't want to overstate here, but I imagine they played together at some point. He's just like, think it's hilarious. Like
what?
It's funny to like you put a picture of yourself scoring a goal and like you put it up, whatever. But like he tagged Cal in it. Like that's so funny, hilarious to me.
And I just love that. Like he responded. Are you kidding me with this?
Oh shit.
So good. Here's some big news too that happened last week. I'm sure everyone's heard of it by now. The San Jose Sharks has hired Mike Grier as their new GM, and he is the first black GM in NHL history, breaking absolute barriers here, with his brother Chris Grier is currently the GM of the NFL's Miami Dolphins, and their father Bobby has also been an executive in the NFL since 1982. So he's a part of the family that was just like, nope, I don't want anything to do with football, I'm going to go straight to hockey.
That's right. I mean,
guy.
He has one of the all-time best hockey cards that you sent over to me. It's him just eating a piece of pizza
in
the locker room.
It's awesome.
So
sick.
Good. But yeah, I thought it was really cool to see. Congrats to Mike Grier. I mean, breaking barriers again. That's all we're going to talk about from here on, basically.
Yep.
We're going to get into a lot of females breaking barriers too, but seeing him hired as the San Jose GM is really cool to me, honestly. I like Mike Grier a lot.
Yeah, well deserving.
Colorado Avalanche, little update here, too. They promoted Joe Sakic to the president of hockey operations, and Chris McFarland is going to be the new GM. I mean, Sakic, showed his knowledge, dumped it all on the paper and said, hey, this is what we have. This is who we need exactly. Bring in Andrew Cogliano. Bring in this guy. I'll get us a cup. He does, and now here's a promotion for you.
Yep. Awesome. Good. So then... Some more news here. The Toronto Maple Leafs have promoted Dr. Haley Wickenheiser from Senior Director of Player Development to Assistant GM. Big brain. Big brain move from Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
So we're going to be seeing, just breaking barriers here left and right.
There's going to be like 3 or 4 more of these. You ready?
Yeah.
The Coachella Valley Firebirds, the Seattle AHL affiliate team, have named Jessica Campbell as their first assistant coach in team history. Their inaugural season will be this fall, and Campbell will be the first female assistant coach in the AHL.
Wow.
I feel like we brought this up last week, and he said they call her Soup, unless I'm just mistaken and an idiot, but Soupy, something like that. We talked about this last week?
No, I think I brought up Campbell just in general, where we feel like every person with the last name Campbell is
Yeah, we've said that, but we talked about a female that was going by Soupy, and I forget who it was.
Really?
I don't know. The New Jersey Devils named Kate Madigan as their assistant GM, the first female assistant GM in New Jersey Devils history and the 6th in NHL history.
Wow.
I'm going to let you do this next one because you like her name.
Yep, because I know how to say it.
See it.
So the LA Kings have named Mignon Rayom to their hockey operations and prospect advisor position. Awesome news. She's well deserving. She's been all around the hockey world. She's been all around the NHL doing like some stuff on like the side. I thought she was with the Premier Hockey Federation doing something at some point. Like
I bet she was too, because she's got to be one of the like main people that's pushing and driving women in hockey at this point.
She was like one of the first. You see her in the Tampa Bay Lightning goalie jersey and like on the ice. You're just like, holy shit! Like she was breaking barriers back in the day like that. You know? So the New York Islanders have hired Brian Wiseman and Doug Houda as assistant coaches. Wiseman has been an assistant for Edmonton for the last 3 years, and Houda has been an assistant in the NHL since 2006 with Boston and Detroit. So some moves here with the New York Islanders. I'm going to move on from that unless you have anything else to add.
No, I just think it's really cool to see Doug Houda get, another position. The New York Islanders are really looking good. They're on the upswing. Here you go. Keep it moving.
Keep it going. And then our guy.
Your guy.
No, none of our guys. None of our guys. Pierre Maguire. That's it. I never thought I'd be saying that name again. Is being hired by Sportsnet as a draft analyst, and there is likely more to come in terms of his position at the company.
Kind of interesting. I didn't know what to think about more to come at in terms of his position. That's kind of weird, right?
So he's gonna do more, but as long as he's not on the bench, just just
chumming it up,
faces, right. With his, you know what? We're gonna move on from that before we go down a bad rabbit hole with that.
So you want me to do this one?
Go ahead. Yep.
You want to go back and forth? Save our voices for next week so we're not all raspy?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
All right, so in Boston, per TSN's Ryan Rishaug, forward Jake DeBrusk has rescinded his trade request from the Bruins. He's happy to remain a Bruin going forward and is under contract for 2 more years at $4 million AAV. And also, per Kevin Weeks, which means it must be true, the Bruins are in negotiations with forward David Krejci for his potential return to Boston.
Whoa. Wow. I heard something, too, of David Pastrnak. I guess what he's looking for his next contract is massive. So I don't know what the hell Pasta's going to be doing. But
go get it. Go get that money, man. I'm telling you, we need to trade him before he wants to get signed because I don't think that they're going to pay him.
No. I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't. Well, I mean.
How many teams would want Pasta?
Yeah.
A lot.
I mean, if you have Bergeron's contract going away and Krejci's contract will probably be short, maybe you do. Maybe you do sign him and keep him. But I think if you can get something for him and you think that the team needs to tank for a little bit, then that's the way to go. You got to build from the bottom up in this league, in my opinion.
Right, 100%. And then with the Gatorade pulling their sponsorship from the NHL, BioSteel has been named the official hydration partner of the NHL and NHLPA. Big come up for BioSteel. If you're a hockey guy, hockey fan, I'm sure you've been to Pure Hockey. I'm sure you've been to Goalie Monkey.
Dude, I feel like they're the only hockey people know about BioSteel, but it's a really good product, and I think that it can take over for Gatorade and be the thing. And I think it's honestly what the players want too.
Right.
You know,
100%.
Gatorade gets. I hate to like disparage them, but like it's so sugary, so sweet. They're doing really good coming out with like Gator Light and which is like the electrolyte product. Gatorade Zeros, dude, they taste just like Gatorade. Zero sugar. They're using that like erythritol, like fake sugar that literally goes through your body. You piss it right out. Apparently, there's no side effects. We'll find out in 30 years. I don't know. But apparently, it's the same shit. Because when I was on the ice back in the day, I want a Gatorade. I would do half a water bottle of Gatorade and water it down with just straight water. Right. So, BioSteel is really good.
Hell yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're good.
But yeah,
I'm fucking going on a tangent.
BioSteel is really good. If you go to Pure Hockey, Goalie Monkey, it's always like, it's never out in the open. It's like, it's probably on the checkout line on like the bottom shelf. I don't know why, but that's
expired last year, but just buy it anyways.
Year, but buy it. It's I really like it. But moving on from BioSteel, the Arizona schedule update per Frank Cervelli. 20 of their first 24 games are on the road, and they played just 2 home games each in the month of October and November. There are no Saturday night home games during the NCAA season. They will have which will have on December during Christmas break. So, dude, imagine this, you're an NHL team, and you have to schedule yourself around.
Oh, it's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, none of this looks good. It kind of sucks. I don't really want to harp on them anymore, but, man, 20 out of their first 24 on the road, like, that just means fucking 20 at the end of the season out of their last 24, roughly, you know, are going to be home games. Like, ugh, I don't know.
We were just talking about how this is, like, going to be, like, a huge money grab, too. Like, I would go. You know?
Well, it definitely is. It's a money grab in the sense that you have an NHL quality product, an NHL game in an arena with only 5,000 seats.
Right.
So you're gonna sell tickets for like out the ass money.
Right.
But it's just tough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to harp on it too much.
No.
We did have a little status update from Brayton Holtby too. He's unlikely to play next season with the Dallas Stars, and his career may be ending. So. Not a lot of info on that. Just wanted to chuck it out there and let you all know.
He was on a LTIR with a lot of lower body injury.
Yeah.
And, I said, yeah.
Could be like a fade into the sunset Tuukka Rask kind of guy.
Maybe. He was bouncing all around. He was that star in Washington, won the Cup.
Went to
Vancouver. And then it was him and Demko for a little bit. Wasn't able to really get the job done there. Went to Dallas. Feel like looked better in Dallas, but still got pushed aside by Jake Ottinger, and
yeah,
there he is. So I don't know. Nothing against Brayden Holtby at all. I love him as a goalie, so I just hope like he can recover and maybe come back, but we'll see what happens. So, moving on from that, we have the Chicago Blackhawks. Scotty Bowman has decided to leave the Chicago Blackhawks organization. Bowman holds the record for most wins as a head coach in NHL history with 1,248 and has won 14 Stanley Cups as a player, coach, and executive combined.
That's nuts. I did not know that.
Insane. He has been a senior advisor of hockey ops with the Blackhawks since 2008. What? That's
right a
there.
resume
That's
and a half.
a resume and a half.
And the fact that he's saying he's deciding to leave the organization, like, I wonder if he's
going
to go.
Own will.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to go anywhere else. Like,
Yeah.
if he goes to another team. Initially, when I read this, I was like, damn, he's done. He might go somewhere else, you know? Like, imagine picking up Scotty Bowman.
Yeah, this is an insane retirement. It's just like, I'm just going to step down.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's crazy.
We did have a little Johnny Gaudreau update. I mentioned him earlier. He has notified the Flames that he will not be returning to Calgary, which is nuts to me because he turned down an 8-year, $80 million contract, roughly. This is what we're hearing.
Yeah.
$10 mil AAV on that. And after this news, Nikita Zadorov also announced he's going to be testing the free agency market, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's leaving. I mean, Gaudreau's gone. He's not coming back, he's saying. But Zadorov, he could pull the Evgeny Malkin, test free agency, and come back. So we'll see.
That's nuts. And then say Johnny Hockey's gone, now Nikita Zadorov's gone, and those are 2 huge names just leaving Calgary, That is
It's
insane.
weird to me because, like, dude, they were such a good team. Like, they could get over the hump. If Johnny Gaudreau comes back there, like, they're willing to pay him. Like, maybe he doesn't want that tenure, but at the end of the day, man, like, they were, like, so close,
Right.
man.
And
I feel like they could have been closer.
They had one of the best goalie tandems in the league. And like they had the best tandem in the league in like the beginning of the season last year with Dan Vladar and Jacob Markstrom. Like you had a solid team. I just don't know why he would leave.
I feel like it's got to do with the actual city and like the environment. I don't know though. This is speculation, but
Think it's the coach? against Daryl
Coached.
Sutters.
Could be, but I don't think that's enough to drive a guy like that away. He's a smaller guy. He's probably not the guy that Daryl Sutter's looking at and saying, you're my guy, because of how small he is. He's not very physical at the end of the day. Like, he's the skill, gets in there and does his job, but doesn't do the extra shit, you know? But yeah.
And then we have a retirement. Matt Moulson announced his retirement from professional hockey and is joining the Toronto Maple Leafs as a scout. Matt Moulson finished his career with 650 NHL games played between the LA Kings, Buffalo Sabres, Minnesota Wild, and New York Islanders, putting up 176 goals and 369 points. Matt Moulson has been in the AHL since 2017 with the Ontario Reign and Hershey Bears. Matt Moulson's a bigger name in Buffalo Sabres than I feel like all those four
I think he
teams
was pretty
combined.
big in the New York Islanders organization too, but yes, you're absolutely right. He was only in Minnesota for a quick stint, and I don't know how much he did in LA, but Minnesota was literally like half a season.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a good player. I remember seeing his name, on the back of the jersey out on the ice there, causing havoc.
And then some more Chicago news, because it's just the Chicago type of episode we have going on. Another retirement. Defenseman Duncan Keith announced his retirement from professional hockey at the age of 38. Keith has played 1,256 NHL games since 2005, playing all of his career with Chicago Blackhawks, other than last year when he signed with the Edmonton Oilers. Keith put up 106 goals and 646 points. He won 3 Stanley Cups with the Blackhawks and won the Norris Trophy in 09-10 and 13-14, as well as the Conn Smythe in 14-15. He also won Olympic gold with Canada in 2010 and 2014. I love Duncan Keith. So congrats to that. Great, what am I trying to say? Great career.
Yeah, I just kind of wish, for him to leave Chicago and have to sign in Edmonton for the 1 year and then retire, that kind of sucks, dude. I wish he played only Chicago his entire career and retired.
Right.
Other than that, dude, no complaints. That guy's amazing, legend. I mean, he got the job done for Chicago. He was a huge factor for them.
Yep.
Great locker room presence too. I mean, look at how far Edmonton got this year, thanks to him too. I believe even if it wasn't on ice production, just what he brings to the room.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
He knows what it takes to win the cup. That's why I call him Duncan Teeth.
And I got one more update for the Chicago fans here. Despite all the changes and moves we've covered out this episode, Frank Saravelli reports that a number of teams are inquiring about Patrick Kane, but there continue to be, they're getting told that a trade's unlikely at this time. Kane and the Blackhawks have been in continuous dialogue, and he would like to see how this season goes, and it would be an in-season move, if at all. So even though they're really getting rid of literally everyone on this team, Kane wants to stick around and see, where this takes us. If they're tanking and the team's really bad, he'll probably bounce and, bring something in for the Blackhawks organization. But kind of cool to see that he's saying, I want to stick around. Maybe this is all hearsay and he does end up leaving before the season starts, but from this, I want to say that, Kane's going to stick around for a bit.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
He was the face of the organization, him and Jonathan Toews. You remember
Dude,
back in the day?
There was some quote online. It was hilarious. What was it? It was Kane says something along the lines of the Blackhawks organization is trading away everyone I've enjoyed playing with. And then it was Jonathan Toews in the locker room, and it was
Just by himself.
Yeah, by himself, and Kane's on the other end. He's I don't like playing with you, Jonathan.
Someone took a photo from the side view of an empty bench in Chicago, and then I think the capture was just Chicago's bench next season.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
It's insane. But we have big news. One of the last news we got. This is a long episode, by the way. We are an hour and 20 minutes in.
That's pretty good, all things considered, all the shit that we have to cover. We took a week off last week. Thank you all for that. I had a vacation week, so not much going on. I mean, Stanley Cup, I passed out, so yeah.
So I'm going to let you do it because this is all you're doing, but this is the Ivan Fedotov and Kirill Kaprizov follow-up.
You want to keep the other thing for the end, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Fedotov this is Ivan Fedotov, prospect for the Philadelphia Flyers, and some reason Kirill Kaprizov was just looped into this. I mean, I feel like Kirill Kaprizov in general as a player, he always gets lumped in. Oh no, I'm sorry, not lumped in. He always has these weird scenarios where he is just I don't know. It's just news just kind of gravitates towards him, and all these false things and weird things get wrapped up around him. I don't know. But Ivan Fedotov, right, prospect for the Flyers, detained by Russian law enforcement during the last week of June, and he was taken into custody on the grounds of avoiding military service. So in Russia, basically, as a citizen, you have a civic duty to perform X amount of years in the military in whatever position it might be. So the Russian military has an alternative unit for athletes who are skilled enough to compete at the elite level while enlisted called the Central Sports Club of the Army, or CISKA, is the team in the KHL. Fedotov has been playing in this league for a couple years in that team. The Russian government has not confirmed his location, and there has been conflicting reports about him. A Russian news outlet reportedly published photos of him being held at a military base in Russia's north coast, which sucks, which is basically fucking Siberia. But prior to disappearing, he was, he stopped at a medical center, and according to his lawyer, he was given injections that made him sick. And the most recent thing that the Flyers GM Fletcher said on the matter is that the team's aware of the situation and is investigating.
This is such a weird spot. Like I just said, this is a business, but it's just such a weird thing where it's it's business, but also it's a country thing as well.
Yeah, this is definitely not Flyers business. This is just the country doing what they want with their player who plays in their league.
Right.
And basically at the end of the day, I never knew that CSKA was short for, you work for the Army, but you're a really good athlete, so we're going to make a team out of really good Army athletes.
Right.
That's kind of nuts.
That's insane.
Imagine if they did that in the U.S., dude. We'd have, they kind of do with Army, Navy, college football games, right?
Yeah, they do, yeah.
But, imagine if they had, a stacked NFL, NHL, professional sports league team.
Full of Marines.
Full of fucking Marines, dude. Break your fucking
insane.
neck. Dude, imagine the locker room. It would be so strict, dude. You step on the logo, they just beat the shit out of you. But yeah, that is nuts. It's crazy to see what Fedotov's going through. I really hope that the injections thing was fake, false,
something.
Just something weird, but that's nuts. I mean, in general, that place is wild. So
I don't know what it is now. Sorry, I'm just thinking. I don't know how it is now, but where I work, there's a lot of Marines. There's a lot of military guys that I work with. And so they were telling me when the vaccine thing was coming out for the COVID, they were telling me when they're in the Marines, they literally came in a line. There were these 2-ass big booster shots. You had no idea what it was. And they just both arms. And they're like, I have no idea what the fuck it was.
Christ,
but
dude.
He goes, sometimes it'd make you sick, sometimes it wouldn't. But he goes, I haven't been sick ever since. And just
makes you a Marine, apparently.
Makes you a Marine, yeah. So I don't know.
I gotta get me some of those.
Right? Jesus. I don't know what they injected.
Just fucking HGH.
Just super soldiers, right? Just
Jesus
keep
Christ.
going. So
all right. Anyways, moving on to Kirill Kaprizov's side of this nonsense. So this is all according to Michael Russo. And he says, according to league sources, Kaprizov left Russia recently for Dubai and tried to return to the U.S. He couldn't clear into the U.S., though, perhaps because he doesn't currently have a work visa despite signing a 5-year contract last September. As The Athletic reported on July 1st, several Europeans, not just Russians, were given exceptions to play last season without visas because the U.S. consulates were inundated during the COVID-19 pandemic. So basically, he can't get back to the U.S. because he doesn't have a work visa. And, they made exceptions because of COVID, and now they're not for him, I guess. So then sources are saying that he tried to cross the ocean by way of Caribbean islands after not succeeding in the Dubai route and was again denied entry. So Kaprizov then returned to Russia, where he remains. Completely separate issues, but there was something that was released, and this is all speculation and shit that I read online, that has something to do with falsified military identification that had something to do with Fedotov. So, I mean, Kaprizov did play in the KHL. They probably do know each other a little bit. I don't necessarily think that Kaprizov was in the military and played for CSKA, but at the same token, he had to have been in the military. He is an elite hockey player because he served his time as a military man for Russia. Maybe he falsified the documents too. I don't know. This is all hearsay, and we left that out in general because this is everything I said before. The falsified documents is what we found online that seems to be true. And I don't know what the hell's going on, but Russia's wild, man. That's where I'm leaving it.
All I know is they play with bears in the woods. You ever see those videos where they have the motorcycles and the bears just kind of hanging out in the back of the motorcycle?
Oh, yeah. The circus.
It's a fucking different world over there. It really is.
But Josh Hosang doesn't give a fuck and is signing a 1-year deal with Salavat Yuliv Ufa of the KHL.
Jesus.
He's gone. That guy I'm telling you, that guy is a fucking amazing hockey player, and no one is giving him a chance for some reason. Like, he can be in the NHL. He can put up, second line forward, third line forward. I don't even know if he's a forward, but second or third line minutes, and I think he would be a very good player. And I just feel like he's been shafted a little bit. I think that guy can really get the job done in the NHL, but he's going to the K. Hopefully he boosts his numbers and he can come back to the N. We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Maybe, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
He was a nasty prospect, though, when he was first coming up.
Well, I feel like a lot of guys do that. They go back. Like, the Kirill Kaprizov was doing that, too. Remember the whole Minnesota Wild thing where he wanted a certain contract to be with them, and they're just like, we're not going to give it to you. Be like, all right, I'll just go back to the
Yeah,
KHL.
but Ho-Sang was here and just never got a shot in the NHL, and when he did, he kind of got shafted, I feel like.
Yeah. No, I'm 100% with you. I want to do a callback because we got a sign.
Oh, nice. What do you got?
All right, so this is a callback literally right before we even started the whole Kirill Kaprizov.
Yeah, so wait, this is a breaking news, like, as we're recording this happened.
As we're recording. So we're literally just talking about Johnny Hockey maybe coming back to Calgary, maybe going to Columbus, and it's now signed. So right now I got Johnny Gaudreau signed a 7-year, $68.25 million deal with the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Jesus Christ.
Which is $9.75 million a year.
So he basically took a little, well, we don't know. We heard speculation 10 mil for Calgary, 9.75 in Columbus. Like, what's the difference, man? Like, do you want to be in Canada's Calgary or you want to be in the U.S. Calgary, Like, I just don't get Columbus. That doesn't make sense to me. I like Boone Jenner a lot. I don't even know if he's still there. I haven't followed Columbus in a long time, but I got to relook at that roster and check it out.
I'm like kind of reading this. I want to wish. So what the hell is his name? Flames manager said he wanted to wish Johnny and his family, his wife Meredith, the best. So I don't know. I feel like management had everything for Johnny Gaudreau and really wanted him. They thought he was the face of the organization, and for some reason, Johnny Gaudreau just like, I want out of here.
I understand a change of pace. I understand wanting out, but like, I don't understand choosing Columbus. Like, if I'm one of the best players in the NHL, I'm going to pick what team I want to go to. Mm-hmm. I don't really. This sounds bad, but I don't really pick Columbus. Like, what do they have that's promising? They missed playoffs last year. They upset the number 1 seed a couple years ago, but I think that was all done from behind the bench and from Bobrovsky standing on his head,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. But, yeah.
So hopefully more on that next week.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Kevin Weeks here.
All right, so long episode for everyone. Hopefully we can keep that down to an hour for the next episode, but we had a week and a half worth of stuff to talk about. So, how are your fingers, bud? You done?
Oh
typing?
Man, I feel like I just wrote a thesis statement for college again.
But we don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you all for listening in. Chris, we messed up here. We gotta do a shot.
Yeah, you also didn't do the thing that was supposed to go at the end of the episode, which we have some sad news for you guys. Brian Marchment has sadly passed away at the age of 53. He played 17 seasons in the NHL from 1988 to 2006, playing in 926 games and putting up 40 goals, which is not a lot for 926 games, 182 points, and get ready for this, 2,307 penalty minutes. So I think you can guess what his role was on the team. He was a scout for San Jose at the time of his passing. He's the father of current NHL UFA Mason Marchment, who played last 2 seasons, I believe, on the Florida Panthers, who's actually been quite a surprise in the NHL. I really like that guy, but very sad to see. My condolences to his family, our condolences to his family and his son Mason. But yeah, I mean, 53 years old, that's pretty unexpected. A scout for San Jose, just nuts.
Rough.
Yeah. Let's dedicate this one to him.
Yeah, let's do it.
I like doing that. That's a good idea, right?
That's a good idea.
All right. Red pill, blue pill.
I know. I'm just looking at it. It's like, what do you want? So I ran out of nips. We ran out of nips, and we got to get rid of these slurps. I don't know if you remember the episode of us doing it, but
let's do them.
Let's do them. Which one do you want? Red or
blue? You pick. I don't like picking. I don't like making decisions. Okay. All right, cool. I got Strawberry Slammer. What's yours called?
This is called Blue Raspberry Smash.
Nice. I like the names of them. They're kind of funny.
Oh, God, I hate these things.
I forget how to open them.
What do you mean?
Fuck, dude.
Need help?
Yeah, I do. Thanks, Dad. I'll take the blue one.
Oh wow, this is like. No way.
Don't squirt on yourself though. Gotta be careful.
Dude, there's no way.
Go get another one. Ah, there it is. Dude, you got the ASMR of it too. All right, cool. You can have the blue one. What a legend, dude. Thank you. That was kind of tough, wasn't it?
Yeah, for no reason.
All right, buddy. Cheers.
Cheers, bud.
Enjoy.
Ugh.
Oh my god, that's so cold. That was so cold. I hope they got the ASMR slurp. Dude, you only did half of it.
I couldn't even get it. It was so fucking cold.
It was freezing,
Oh
wasn't
my
it, dude?
God.
Oh, man. My teeth were hurting.
Oh, God. Dude, I have very, very sensitive teeth.
Oh, really?
That hurt.
Yeah.
Like, a
Yeah,
lot.
it did. Even for me, I don't have very sensitive teeth. I was
Oh
like,
my
wow, that's
God.
cold. It didn't taste bad, though, personally.
Next time we do these, because we have, 10 more left, we got to take them out, let them warm up a bit.
Dude, we
before
got the, yeah, we were supposed to. That was my bad. I got up and got 2 more beers. I didn't get the shots. We got cinnamon ones in there that I'm never going to drink, so I'm going to bring those over to our friend Tommy's house tonight and leave them there. Someone else can
Someone
drink
will
those.
do it.
I'm not doing them. But I think that's it. I think I'm going to bring the red and blue ones over there, too, because I'm going to have a couple more of those. Maybe the guys will, too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing cinnamon. Fuck that shit.
Nope.
All good?
All good.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. If there's anything you want to see us cover next episode, let us know. Our links are in the description, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye, guys.
Peace.